different types of things, so furniture, ceramics, silver, and paintings like the ones we can see here.
When life behind Buckingham Palace's grand walls was finally exposed, it caused a surprising reaction. For the maids working in its beautiful halls, each day meant following strict rules and handling expectations. Beneath the shining chandeliers and clean floors, the pressure was so high that some could not take it anymore. But what was it, hiding in plain sight, that pushed these dedicated staff to leave one of the world's most famous homes? This is the shocking story they never expected to share. The unimaginable pressure faced by maids. Buckingham Palace is known for its beautiful chandeliers and gold decorations, but there is another side to it, a world of strict rules and high standards. While visitors enjoy the polished floors and rich history, they rarely see the disciplined environment behind the luxury. Every detail is carefully managed, and perfection is expected. This unseen side is crucial to the palace's elegance and order. Anne Simmons spent over 10 years cleaning the palace's 775 rooms. She shares a unique view of this hidden world. Her experience reveals a reality very different from the shiny images in brochures. A mop or cloth was more than just a cleaning tool for Anne. It was part of a detailed system where each action counted. The palace is where even the slightest mistake can have significant consequences. In this hidden world, cleaning is more than just dusting or polishing. It is a precise and almost ceremonial task. Every action follows an unspoken code based on tradition and expectations. Staff work quietly and efficiently, anticipating needs before they are spoken. If something is out of place or improperly cleaned, it could lead to serious problems. Housekeeping is not just about looks, but about preserving the palace's integrity and legacy. Anne's stories show what life is like under such strict demands. Even the simplest tasks require full attention. Mops must be wrung to the right tension, cloths folded carefully, and cleaning solutions appropriately mixed. Each task follows time-honored procedures that blend practical needs with respect for tradition. The work needs patience, endurance, and an understanding of the palace's rhythm. For Anne and her colleagues, each day involves balancing speed with perfection, discretion with visibility, and efficiency with respect. On top of the physical work, staff are under pressure from being observed. Staff know that their actions are not entirely private. Visitors, senior members of the household, or even passing royals can notice both good work and mistakes. In such an environment, staying alert is essential. Discipline becomes a habit, and attention to detail is part of every task, whether cleaning a grand hall or a private suite. Anne Simmons' account changes how we see Buckingham Palace from just a symbol of glamour to a complex place. It is where beauty and elegance meet strict order. Every polish, every sweep, and every action matters. The dedication of the staff keeps centuries of tradition alive. Cleaning becomes an art in the palace's hidden areas, and the maids who maintain its perfection face pressures that few can handle. But what other surprising stories did Simmons share about life behind the palace walls? Let's find out. The strict cleaning rules. Even cleaning supplies are closely monitored inside Buckingham Palace, where luxury and history converge. Anne Simmons disclosed that certain items that everyday people consider normal were completely forbidden. What might seem like a minor detail in a typical home, a disposable wet wipe for example, was not allowed within these royal premises. Though marketed as flushable, wet wipes were entirely prohibited, a decision King Charles endorsed. The rationale for such stringent rules was both practical and principled. Wet wipes frequently led to plumbing issues, clogging the palace's complex pipe system and resulting in expensive ongoing repairs. Additionally, there was a significant environmental aspect to consider. Buckingham Palace, steeped in centuries-old traditions, had started prioritizing sustainability, and single-use products contradicted that vision. Consequently, reusable cloths became the preferred choice. These cloths were softer on surfaces, less wasteful, and aligned with the household's commitment to long-term care and responsibility. At Buckingham Palace, the cleaning process adhered to guidelines as meticulous as the grandeur of the surroundings. Everyday items like steel wool were outlawed because they could scratch delicate marble, granite, and stainless steel. Instead, staff utilized gentle microfiber cloths and natural solutions, vinegar, lemon juice, and warm water, carefully formulated to eliminate grime without residue. Every area, from kitchens to hallways, had to uphold the pristine appearance demanded by centuries of royal tradition. In this hidden realm, even the mildest methods became acts of discipline, safeguarding elegance and honoring the palace's rich history. For Anne, her work extended far beyond efficiency or simplicity. Cleaning in Buckingham Palace focused on precision, anticipation, and long-term upkeep. Every movement was significant, every tool held a purpose, and every product was selected to maintain the palace's beauty and functionality. She described her role as a delicate equilibrium. A single misstep could have cascading effects, potentially causing damage that would be noticed by staff and members of the royal family. Within Buckingham Palace, even the most basic cleaning assignments carried substantial significance. Staff were anticipated to execute every task with the utmost care, respect, and precision, employing only approved materials and techniques. While outsiders might perceive these regulations as excessive, they protected the palace's grandeur, historical significance, and image of perfection. However, according to rumors, this might be why some maids chose to leave the palace. Excellence was not merely encouraged, it was essential, ensuring that every inch embodied the rigorous standards of an internationally recognized royal residence, where every action, no matter how trivial, contributed to upholding centuries of tradition, elegance, and esteem. Anne's insights provide a rare look into a setting where even the simplest cleaning chores, mopping floors, polishing countertops, or scrubbing sinks, demanded knowledge, skill, and discipline. In this atmosphere, cleaning transcended being just a task. It transformed into an art form, a display of loyalty, and a daily pledge to sustain an iconic establishment. Every cloth, every home-crafted solution, every careful sweep embodied Buckingham Palace's relentless quest for perfection. The pressure could be immense for the maids working under these stringent guidelines. But what did daily life behind the palace's sparkling walls genuinely entail? Let's explore. Inside Buckingham Palace. At first glance, life inside Buckingham Palace appears to be a fairy tale job. The ornate hallways, dazzling chandeliers, and rich history provide an almost enchanted peek into royal existence. Working here might seem like a privilege filled with sophistication and significance for many. However, as Anne Simmons disclosed, the truth behind these walls is far more challenging than most can envision. For those who work in the palace, each day comes with unseen pressures, constant observation, and expectations that allow for no mistakes. Anne described Buckingham Palace as something more than a residence. It functioned as a living museum, where every task required impeccable accuracy. From cleaning surfaces to dusting valuable artifacts, even the slightest errors could damage centuries-old decor or disrupt the palace's complex operations. Every action held significance in this environment, and a solitary mistake could reverberate far beyond the immediate task. You'll need to go left here, and the public entrance to Buckingham Palace is located here at Buckingham Gate, influencing both the palace's legacy and the royal household's reputation. The work demanded more than just technical ability. Patience, discipline, and deep respect for tradition were vital. Even seemingly minor rules, such as the strict prohibitions on wet wipes or steel wool, reflected a broader culture where every detail was crucial. Disposable wipes, though branded as flushable, could clog the palace's plumbing, while steel wool posed a risk of scratching marble and polished stainless steel. What might seem like a minor inconvenience in an ordinary home was, in the palace, a firm rule to preserve the structure and its centuries-old heritage. For Anne and her co-workers, cleaning turned into more than simple tasks. It morphed into a disciplined form of art. Every movement, every stroke, and each use of meticulously prepared cleaning solutions required concentration and respect. Utilizing soft microfiber cloths and homemade mixtures of vinegar, lemon, and warm water, they meticulously maintained the palace's invaluable interiors. They understood that every duty mattered, each tool had a specific purpose, and every action helped uphold an unblemished, enduring standard of excellence. In this concealed world, discipline was mandatory. Staff were perpetually conscious that their efforts directly impacted the palace's impeccable image. A hallway swept incorrectly, a table overpolished, or a small mistake in a stateroom could jeopardize the facade of superiority. Every action, no matter how minor, was significant. Anne's narrative uncovers an aspect of Buckingham Palace that seldom reaches the public's attention. Beneath the splendor and historical importance lies a work environment characterized by rigor, alertness, and an unwavering dedication to tradition. The rules, exactness, and demands are integral to a legacy that influences the lives of those who serve, imposing responsibilities few outsiders can genuinely grasp. In this remarkable setting, everyday life wove together privilege with duty. Staff had the rare opportunity to engage with a realm of history, luxury, and culture that few could ever witness. Yet, it came with an ever-present expectation of flawlessness. Every corridor traversed, every meal cooked, and cleaned surface had to meet the palace's stringent standards. Ultimately, McGrady's observations shed light on the fact that beneath Buckingham Palace's sparkling exterior exists a tightly organized, disciplined environment, where tradition governs the monarchy and the lives of those who support it. It is a place where accuracy, hierarchy, and vigilance define each moment, and where the unseen burden of history and protocol guarantees that staff exist in a realm completely distinct from what the public perceives. Every action within Buckingham Palace carries significance. Every task necessitates precision, and the flow of life buzzes with unwavering discipline. But how extensive are these regulations? Now, let's delve into the strict precision, hidden protocols, and concealed pressures that push palace chefs to their limits. Inside the Queen's kitchen, the vibrancy of life within Buckingham Palace extends far beyond its formal corridors, dazzling events, and strict household rules. It permeates the very core of the royal kitchen. Darren McGrady, the Queen's former chef, revealed that working in this environment was unlike any traditional culinary setting. Every meal crafted for Her Majesty was not just about taste or presentation. It displayed precision, discipline, and exacting standards, where even the slightest misstep could send ripples through the palace and jeopardize centuries of tradition. In this exclusive kitchen, selecting ingredients was about quality and loyalty to the monarchy's principles. Local and indigenous produce, often sourced directly from royal estates like Balmoral, was revered. Fresh berries, garden vegetables, river salmon, and estate-raised venison were seen as more than just food. They embodied the Queen's connection to her lands and her appreciation for Britain's natural gifts. Each component had to be showcased to its fullest potential, meticulously prepared to emphasize its freshness, flavor, and seasonal characteristics. The choice of items served on the plate was never arbitrary. It required a profound understanding, meticulous attention to detail, and an awareness that presentation held symbolic significance. Some ingredients were strictly prohibited. For instance, garlic was never allowed in palace cuisine. While common in many restaurants and home kitchens, the strong-flavored spice was deemed inappropriate for royal dining. Chefs had to practice self-discipline, restraining their personal culinary inclinations and creativity to adhere stringently to palace regulations. Unlike numerous kitchens where chefs freely experiment with flavors, techniques, and presentation, the royal kitchen required individual choices to be subordinated to household standards. No matter how trivial, every decision was governed by tradition, protocol, and the unspoken expectation of excellence. Presentation was equally essential. The arrangement of each dish had to be impeccable, showcasing both skill and respect for the Queen's standards. An improperly aligned garnish or uneven blend of flavors could be interpreted as carelessness, violating the household's meticulous ethos. Merely achieving great taste was not sufficient. The visual appeal and symbolic significance of each dish carried considerable weight. In McGrady's view, the kitchen mirrored the palace itself, a realm where precision prevailed, every action counted, and centuries-old tradition dictated the work ethic. This culture of stringent discipline extended beyond cooking methods. Chefs and kitchen staff were constantly scrutinized, aware that any mistake could disrupt service and fail to honor Queen Elizabeth II, her household, and the institution they represented. The constant pressure demanded patience, concentration, and a readiness to set aside personal ambition for collective excellence. Errors were not just mistakes, but posed potential legacy and reputation breaches. Ultimately, McGrady's perspective offers insights into one of the hidden reasons palace maids endure such intense pressure, why some choose to leave Buckingham Palace. Like the palace, the royal kitchen required unwavering dedication, precise execution, and a complete reverence for tradition. While creativity is esteemed in other settings, it was secondary to service. Personal expression had to yield to protocol, and excellence was not open to negotiation. Each dish required discipline, each meal signified loyalty, and every moment highlighted the significant pressures of serving one of the world's most iconic households. But did the compensation truly reflect the demands placed on the palace maids? Let's explore this striking reality, the shocking pay behind Buckingham Palace's glamour. Despite its grandeur, historical significance, and esteemed reputation, Buckingham Palace has a contrasting side for some employees. A recent job posting for a live-in housekeeper highlighted this hidden reality. The hourly wage offered was just £7.97, well below the national minimum wage for those over 22 years old. The annual salary of £19,900, which included accommodation and meals, sparked immediate backlash from labor unions and commentators who criticized the pay as obscene, given the royal household's wealth. While it is legal for employers to make deductions for lodging, allowing them to lower wages to account for accommodation expenses up to £8.70 per day or £60.90 per week, including a 15% employer pension contribution, the palace positioned this as part of a competitive overall compensation package. Nevertheless, the disparity between the prestige of working at Buckingham Palace and the reality of the pay garnered public attention, underscoring the challenges of valuing domestic roles within elite settings. Buckingham Palace responded that the reported hourly rate was a mistake, and that the overall compensation, when factoring in accommodation and meals, is competitive with similar live-in positions throughout London. Critics, however, argued that even with these benefits, the wage does not adequately reflect the expertise, commitment, and discipline required to work at one of the world's most renowned residences. The job posting reveals the inherent tensions in palace employment. Employees are expected to perform their duties in a disciplined environment, which ranges from tidying lavish rooms to caring for historic decor. Living on site increases their responsibilities, as they must always be available and adhere to strict palace guidelines. The comparatively low pay, juxtaposed with these high expectations, highlights an often overlooked aspect of life behind palace gates that rarely enters public discussion. This situation also illuminates broader challenges faced by live-in domestic workers in upscale households. While legal provisions allowing for accommodation cost deductions are common, they can result in workers earning below standard wages, particularly in high-cost cities like London. For Buckingham Palace, a symbol of luxury, the low advertised salary underscores the disconnect between public perception and the everyday realities of those who support the royal family. Ultimately, this incident represents more than just a financial issue. It reveals the unseen challenges, sacrifices, and complexities palace staff face. While the public is captivated by the palace's dazzling interiors and ceremonial splendor, the workforce behind the scenes grapples with demanding responsibilities, long hours, and the expectation of excellence, often for compensation that does not reflect the position's prestige. This insight into Buckingham Palace's employment practices offers a revealing perspective on the human aspects of royal life, where duty, service, and reality frequently intersect behind palace walls. What do you think are the factors that have led to maids departing from Buckingham Palace? We'd love to hear your insights in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe.